everyone, welcome to my channel, 10 Ways to Wear It. I'm Alicia, and on this channel I take one fashion item or one fashion trend and show you guys 10 different ways to wear it. Now in today's video I am bringing you a makeup tutorial. I'm showing you how I've been doing my makeup lately. A lot of you all have been complimenting my makeup and asking me to do makeup tutorials, so I decided to bring you what my everyday routine is right now for the summertime. So I'm going to be using all E.L.F products because I have been hooked on E.L.F lately. Like, this is keeping it real. This is not just, you know, trying to promo or do whatever. E.L.F has been killing it with the makeup. I'm loving their foundations lately. I'm loving all of their concealers and so forth. The Camo concealers are the bomb. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I've been using their products to create these beautiful natural looks like the one you see right now. So if you're interested in seeing how I created this look, stay tuned for this video. Alrighty folks, so the first thing I want to do before I get into the makeup is moisturize my lips, and I'm going to be doing that with this E.L.F primer plumper stick. This is like a stick that has two different sides. It has a primer on one side and it has a plumper on the other side. Clearly I don't really need the plumper so I'm going to be using a little bit of this primer on my lips to kind of just moisturize them because they get a little dry when I'm doing my makeup. This smells really good. It smells like cinnamon. I like this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and moisturize my face. I don't have anything on it. I'm gonna be moisturizing with the E.L.F Prep and Hydrate Balm. This is what that looks like, and it's just a nice little balm stick. It's very cooling to the skin, and I love that. It's just really cooling. It's like light blue, and it just feels so good on my skin. I'm really starting to appreciate the value of a good moisturizer before I do my makeup. I used to like my face kind of dry because I would think that would keep me matte all day. But really, you need to moisturize to make your makeup last all day. So I'm gonna be moisturizing with that. I love this product. Oh, it feels so good going on. I'm gonna just rub that in. Feels good, you guys. Really get it under the eyes and also on my neck. Alrighty, now that we're all moisturized, I'm going to prime my skin. I'm gonna be going in with the E.L.F Matte Putty Primer. That is what this looks like. I really love this because it does a great job of filling in my pores as well as mattifying my face. So this is what it looks like. It's just like a white primer, and I like to put that heavy in my T-zone and kind of lighter on the rest of my face. I'm just gonna rub that in. It does leave sort of a white cast like most white primers do, but you know, the makeup covers it really well. It really sticks to my face, and the makeup really sticks to the primer, so I love that. And I've been using this matte putty primer for about 6 months now, and it's like my favorite product when I'm doing my makeup. I use it every time I do my makeup. Even if I'm doing just a really light look with a little powder, I use that matte putty primer. And as you can see, it took away a lot of the shine on my skin, filled in my pores. My skin is looking really good. It's still looking very hydrated even though it's sort of mattified. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. I'm not gonna be using E.L.F products to do my brows, so I'm just gonna kind of go silent and just let you guys watch this part because I'm gonna be using a non-E.L.F product. So let's just speed through the brows. So now that the brows are all done, I'm gonna be cleaning them up using the E.L.F Hydrating Camo Concealer. That's what I'm gonna be using to clean up my brows. And I'm going to be using the shade Deep Cinnamon. I'm in love with this concealer. It's the only one that I use these days. Like, I literally have abandoned all the other concealers I used to use, and I've only been using this one to clean up my brows as well as conceal under my eyes and everything. So this concealer is the best. It's hydrating, but it's like, it dries down so nicely. It's almost like a satin finish, and it's just perfect. It's great for cleaning up under your eyebrows. It's great for moisturizing under your eyes. Like, you can even use this as a foundation if you have the right shade, because it's just a really, really good concealer. It has wonderful coverage, so if I'm having like ingrown hairs under my eyes, it does a great job of concealing them. So I love this concealer. And I'm not gonna drag it down too far because I'm gonna use another product on my lid to prep for my eyeshadow. And I like to take it right across just to make sure my brows are lined up good. Alright, now to make sure that concealer is rubbed in really good, I'm just going to take Real Techniques kind of crease brush, and I'm just going to rub that in really good. And it dries down so good, you guys, like so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep the rest of my eye, and to do that I'm gonna be using the E.L.F Putty Eye Primer. I really love this. Mine is in this sort of deep tan shade. I'm not sure what the exact color is, but this is what it looks like. And this is a really great eye primer. It's a great eyeshadow primer if you want something more skin color. I don't like to go too bright with my eyeshadow primers because I'm usually just doing nude looks anyway. Like, it's no need for me to do all the, you know, really light eyeshadow primer when I'm not going to be doing bright colors or anything like that. And that's what we're doing today, another nude look. So sleep, boring, but you know, it is what it is. I'm giving you guys my basic everyday look, so that's what we working with. So I'm just gonna spread that eye putty primer all over my lid. This is another really great product that just spreads out so well. It takes away any discoloration or hyperpigmentation you might have on your eyelids, and it just really does a great job to prep your eyes for the eyeshadows. So love this too. And you can even use this without eyeshadow. If you're going for like a really natural look, you can just pop on your lashes and only use this product. You don't have to use eyeshadow with this. So that's another thing that I sometimes do when I want a really natural look. I'll just put on some eyeliner and, you know, the putty primer. It's nice. It dries down so good that it almost works like an eyeshadow. But I'm gonna go ahead and just rub that in as well with my brush. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyelids, and to do that I'm going to be using the Sephora Micro Smoothing Powder. This is a non-E.L.F product, but it's like my favorite thing to set my lids. So I'm not putting too much of that, just a tiny bit, just to make sure nothing moves and that it's well set. For my eyeshadow, I'm going to be going in with this bite-sized eyeshadow in the color Cream and Sugar, and it's this tiny cute little palette right here. It's really just nudes, but it does have 2 shimmers in the middle, 2 matte shades on the ends, and I really love this. This is like the perfect little palette for traveling. You can throw this in your purse if you're going out for drinks after work or something like that and you want to kind of jazz up your eye look. This is the perfect little palette. It's so cute and tiny. Oh, I just love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and define my crease first. I'm gonna be going in with this dark shade right here on the end to do that. Ooh, and it's so nice and pigmented. You guys see that? Beautiful color for my complexion. It's perfectly dark, but not too dark, so I can still get a nice natural look. And I'm just all for like a simple eye look, you guys. I'm not too, you know, exuberant when it comes to doing eyeshadow because every time I try to do like a really fun, wild look, it never really turns out the way I want it to. So I just stick to what I know. And that's usually just some browns and some nudes, maybe a brown smoky eye and things like that. And this palette is like perfect for that, this cute little palette. So the next thing I'm gonna do is add some of this light color here on the end. I'm gonna add that to my lid, and I'm also gonna add a little bit of that underneath my brow bone, just to brighten up that lid a little bit. Really kind of just open up my eyes a little bit.
We the champs going back to back like Mike and them.
Now I'm gonna take it right under my brow bone to brighten it up a little bit, and give my eyes a little bit more definition.
Got power strength.
I'm gonna go back in with that crease brush just to blend out the edge. And now I'm going to go in with this shimmery color right here. It's a really pretty, like, nudie, goldy kind of shimmery color. I'm gonna go in with that on the lid on top of that lighter color, just to add some shine to the lid. I'm also gonna kind of take that into my inner corner a little bit. Oh, that looks so pretty. Oh, I love that. It looks so good. Now just to clean up that inner corner, I'm gonna go back into that chocolate brown color and just sort of drag down that color, clean up the inner corner, and just make sure everything's nice and defined. That looks really good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes. I'm using a non-E.L.F. product to line my eyes. I'm using the NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner. This is what that looks like. This is a really good eyeliner. And just gonna apply that real quick.
I wake up, flex, thumb down that check, no drip this, tell them run it up.
And I kind of went a little thick on this side by accident, so I'm gonna thicken up the other side a little bit. I am just not the best at eyeliner, y'all. But I try. So the eyes are pretty much done. I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara, and I'm also using a NYX product for that. I gotta look for an E.L.F. mascara. I'm gonna find me one because I'm just loving E.L.F.'s products lately. Like, and you know, I go to Target 5 times a week, and their E.L.F. section is just the bomb. Yeah, I gotta do a little more shopping. All right, now that my eyes are all done, I'm gonna be applying my lashes, and today I'm gonna be using the New Cali lashes. I buy these on Amazon. This is what they look like. They're just a really beautiful fluffed out lash. Here's what they look like. So pretty, right? They are stunning. They allow me to have like a dramatic look, but like also still looks somewhat natural, not too crazy. I don't like those lashes where you have like birds sitting on your eyes, like it's like a bird, like no. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lashes off camera because it's just easier for me, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so my lashes are on. I'm just using my little handheld fan to kind of dry them a little bit, make sure they're nice and dry. Now I'm gonna just take my fingers and kind of pinch them together with my natural lashes. You always want to do that when you apply falsies. Just kind of, if you can, take your finger or your tweezers or something like that and kind of just pinch them together. I'm also going to go in with a little more of that mascara to make sure they're nice and blended. Just going to go right under and blend my natural lashes into the falsies. Alright, eyes are looking good. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Now we want to get started on this face. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the E.L.F. Flawless Satin Foundation. I bought all 3 of the last darkest shades of this foundation because I wasn't sure what my exact match would be. Now I've figured out that my exact match is a mix of the 3. So I'm going to be kind of using a tiny quarter of a pump of each. Before I do that, I'm going to powder my face a little bit. I love to do that step just to keep my makeup on all day, and to do that I'm going to be using the E.L.F. this yellow powder. I'm not really sure what it's called because I removed the label apparently, but it's sort of like a yellow corrective type of powder. If you guys can see the color, it's like a corrective type of powder. It comes with this little puff inside, so I'm just going to use that to kind of apply some of this powder onto my face just to make sure my makeup lasts all day. Have that on. I know it looks like a lot, but I need this step because my makeup likes to try and break up on me, so I like to do this. This is almost like using you know, the Milk of Magnesia on my face. It really keeps me nice and matte in my T-zone, which is where I have most of my issues. So love this step, and this powder is nice. It has a yellow undertone to it. It works really well with the foundation. Nice and ghostly. Did I get it all over my shirt? I'm not satisfied unless I got it all over my shirt. Let me go ahead and wipe that off real quick. Yeah. Alright, I'm all powdered up. I'm gonna just take a brush and kind of just rub that powder in a little bit more. And trust me, this is all about to disappear, y'all. I know I'm looking real crazy, but this step is crucial for me. So like I said, I'm gonna be going in with the small mix of these three foundations. I have these shades 630 Mocha, 540 Cocoa, and Nutmeg. So those are the three shades I'm gonna be mixing. And I'm just gonna take a little pump, little quarter of a pump on the back of my hand of each color. Alrighty, and here is what that looks like. So you can see the three colors there. And so I'm just gonna mix that with my finger. Mix that up really good. And I'm just gonna take it and dot it on my face. I really, really like this foundation. The finish is perfect. I haven't had any issues with it breaking up throughout the day. It just stays all day. And you know, when I'm shooting my videos, I'm changing a lot, I'm moving a lot, I'm in and out, taking pictures outside, and it's hot outside. And this foundation has really, really been working out good for me. So I am sold, E.L.F. Now that that's all over my skin, I'm gonna be going in with a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush just to blend that in. I'm gonna go over the ears a little bit, down that neck. And as you saw, I didn't put it all the way under my eyes because I am gonna go in with that hydrating camo concealer. And I don't really like to layer my foundation and concealer because I think that's what makes makeup look cakey sometimes, is all the layering. I just like to put my foundation where I'm gonna put it and put my concealer where I'm gonna put it, so it's not too layered up, so that when I add my powders later, it's not too cakey. And sometimes I love to take selfies close up and stuff like that, so don't want to have a cake face. We want cakes, but not on our face. Get under my nose. And that looks so good. It still looks very skin-like. Definitely has that satin finish. And as you can see, it covered all of that powder. All of it is gone. And yeah, it matches my neck perfectly. That color combination is just perfect for me. Just one little pump of each. Now I'm gonna go in with my hydrating camo concealer, and I like to use two colors in that. I'm gonna use Deep Cinnamon and I'm going to use Deep Olive. So those are the two concealers I'm gonna be applying underneath my eyes and also down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and my chin. So let's get into that. So I'm gonna go in with Deep Cinnamon first. Now I'm gonna go in with Deep Olive on top of the Deep Cinnamon under my eyes only. And I have sort of like dips under my eyes. So the Deep Olive really helps to kind of brighten things up and pull those dips out. So that's why I like to use two colors, because the Deep Cinnamon is kind of close to my complexion. It's only about 2 shades lighter than my complexion. So if I only use that, it doesn't do enough to kind of pull out those dips under my eyes. So that's why I go in with the lighter color, the Deep Olive, to kind of pull things forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my little handheld fan to dry it down a little bit. This concealer is very hydrating, moisturizing, so you do need some dry down time for it. So okay, so now that that's dried down a bit, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending it out, and I'll be using a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to do that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my chin, and I only applied a little bit on my chin. I don't like to go too crazy down there. I'm guilty in the past of having kind of harsh highlights and contours, and now when I do my makeup, I just really do everything I can to avoid that. And that's why you guys seem to love my makeup so much, because I really try to make it look as natural as possible. I really do, I really do. So I'm gonna blend out my nose, just giving my under eyes a little more time to dry down since I used 2 layers. Now I'm gonna go ahead and blend out under my eyes. And I like to just kind of stretch my face to do that, to try to prevent creasing as much as possible. But this concealer is really good. It really helps to prevent creasing, so it does a great job of that. I can't stand it. I don't know the way you move it, see you scrambling. On
offense, no defense. Still strong, no weakness. Used to say I wouldn't beat this. Now they wish they could beat this. Table set, not table.
And because I have kind of a wider nose, I get like a little shadow underneath my nose, so I always like to drag that concealer a little bit under my nose, and then I use my powder to kind of even that out. But I like to do that just to brighten up under my nose as well, because sometimes it can look a little bit shadowy, especially in my pictures.
I won't stop.
And I really just want to use that brush to buff in that concealer, make sure I have no creases,
I won't stop.
and that everything's nicely buffed out. Alrighty, now that that's looking good, I'm going to go ahead and contour my face a little bit, and to do that I'm going to be using the E.L.F. Flawless Concealer. This is in the color Rich Cocoa, and this is what the bottle looks like. And I like this because it forces me again to have a really natural contour, because I am guilty in the past of having some crazy looking contours, like when I turn the side of my face looking like RoboCop, okay, looking like Murphy, RoboCop, Officer Murphy, and that is just not cool. So I'm gonna go nice and high on the contour, and then I'm gonna kind of blend it down a little bit. As you can see, that's a really great color contour for me. So I'm just gonna put that right there on my cheeks, right at the hairline, and then just kind of pull it inward. And I really like to sculpt out my face, so I'm gonna put a little bit on the forehead, a couple little stripes. Get that face nice and trim. I'm gonna put a little bit on my chin here, because we're trying to look snatched, honey. And then what's left on the brush, I'm gonna go down the sides of my nose just a little bit. Once again, I'm gonna use my trusty old hand fan to dry that down a little bit. Okay, so now that that's dried down some, I'm going to go ahead and start blending it out, and to do that I'm going to be using the Real Technique sculpting brush, sort of like an angled brush, if you guys can see that, and I really like to use this brush to blend out my contour. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to first start with patting motions just to pat it in, and then I'm going to kind of drag it down a little bit. I did place it a little bit high because I tend to drag mine down and I don't want it to go too far down. So that's how I'm gonna get it into the place where I want it. And it is a little dark, don't worry about that. We're gonna fix that with powder. Just gonna blend the rest into my hairline. Get that face nice and chiseled out and shaped. I have a really round face, so it's nice to shape it out and make it look really snatched, honey. Again, patting it in. Don't worry if it moves a little bit, and then kind of dragging it down a little bit. I'm gonna do my chin area, pat that in a little bit, and then I'm gonna kind of drag it down to create that nice little shadow so it looks like I don't have a double chin when I do. Get them Wendy Williams cheekbones, honey. Wendy Williams cheekbones be popping. I wonder what her face looks like without makeup. Like, does she have a round face? Because her cheekbones be popping. I'm gonna go a little bit under my lip with that, what's left on the brush. Now to blend out my nose contour, I'm just gonna use my ring fingers. I'm just gonna drag that down and also drag it up into my crease color. Drag it down again and up. And as you can see, it's blending in. Alright, so now that my contour is blended in, I want to go back in with my concealer brush and just make sure I don't have any creases before I get ready to set everything. Go under those eyes, clean up the sides of my nose a little bit. Chin, forehead, make sure my forehead lines aren't tripping yet. And I'm going to go right underneath that contour and just kind of clean it up a little bit with what's left on my concealer brush. Now I'm gonna go back in with my foundation brush, the brush I use for my foundation, and just kind of blend the concealer and the contour together. No harsh lines, no harsh lines. And this is where you can really see everything kind of coming together. Like, you can see where I chiseled out that cheek, honey. I have cheekbones officially now. Bloop. And everything just starts to come together with this step when you use that foundation brush to kind of blend it all out and make it all look cohesive. So I'm gonna go down the middle of my nose, sides of the nose, so that we don't have too harsh of a contour. Blend that forehead contour into the concealer. And that is looking awesome. Now we can go ahead and get into some setting action. To set my under eyes, I'm going to be using this E.L.F. primer, this E.L.F. powder. I'm not sure what the name of this powder is, but the color is light medium, but it's just a really nice kind of yellowy, tanny colored powder, and it's gonna give me a nice little brightness under my eyes. It's not too crazy. I just take a little bit on this Real Techniques buffing brush, pat a little bit on, tap a little bit off, and go right under those eyes. And this powder is not too crazy. It is sort of translucent, which I love about it. So I'm just gonna put that everywhere where I put that concealer. My chin, set my forehead. I'm gonna kind of pinch it together to go down my nose. And it's okay if it goes a little wide. Like I said, this powder is pretty translucent, so you can just kind of blend it in. It doesn't cover up my contour or anything. So, and I'm really gonna set right here around my nose because that's where my makeup tends to start to act up throughout the day. So now to set the rest of my face, I have to go with my holy grail, and that is my Sephora Micro Smoothing Powder. I'm just gonna go over my entire face with that to set everything. I love this powder because even when I put it on over my contour, it doesn't like completely cover my contours. You can still see that contour through it, and it makes the contour look even more natural. So I just love this powder. It really is so smoothing, and it just makes your makeup look so much more flawless. If you don't have this Sephora Micro Smoothing Powder, you gotta get it. You gotta try it. And mine is in the darkest shade, so just for info. So now that I've set my entire face, I'm just gonna take that powder under my eyes, just so it's not looking too like different, like two different colors. You wanna kind of really blend everything in. It's not gonna completely wash out that color, but I'm just gonna go over it to make it look a little bit more the shade of my face. So just brushing over it just like that. Perfect. Looking good, right? So for blush, I'm going to be using this E.L.F. Luminous Berry stick. This is like a cream blush. I love these E.L.F. sticks. They have color, the pigment is amazing, but they also have some shimmer to them, if you guys can see that. I'll go ahead and swatch it on the back of my hand. But if you can see how pretty that color is, it's really beautiful. And I like to just put some on the back of my hand just like that. And then I'm just gonna take my blush brush and kind of rub it over it and rub that right onto my cheeks. I don't like to go directly onto my cheeks with that product because it is so pigmented, and sometimes if you go crazy with it, girl, you stuck with it. That product is like, you mess with me, you stuck with me. So go light, tread lightly. Take that brush, sweep it across, sweep that right onto my cheeks. And you can see that it's bringing some luminosity to my cheeks, which I love. And I like to take my blush up kind of into the hairline a little bit. Really give me that pretty flushed face. Another thing I like to do is take a little bit onto my nose, so I'm going to use my finger to do that. And I just like to kind of pat it right there on my nose. And that's something you can just barely see, but I notice it. All right, that looks so good. Love a nice pop of color on my cheeks. So now that we're almost done with the face, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara to my lower lashes. I'm also going to go back into my little E.L.F. bite-size palette, and I'm gonna use the shimmery gold color right here to brighten up my inner corners. Perfect. Now let's get into these lips. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with my lips yet. I'm probably gonna do the same thing I always do. Let's be real. Alrighty, so for my lips, I'm gonna be doing the same old nude that I always do. I don't know why I even pretend like I'm gonna do something else. But I'm gonna be using this E.L.F. nude lipstick. This is in the color Touch of Nude, and this is what it looks like. It's just a really pretty nude color. I've had this lipstick for quite some time, and I just love it. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on my lips first. You know what? I think I'm gonna line first as well. I'm gonna be lining my lips with just the brown lip liner that I buy on Amazon in bulk, super cheap. Just to give them a little bit of shape before I add that lipstick. And that looks really good. I always like to diffuse that liner around my lips, so I'm just gonna take my finger and kind of blend the lipstick into the liner. That looks good. That's looking really good, right? So now all that's left to do is to set my face, and I'm gonna be using two different E.L.F. setting sprays. I'm gonna be using the E.L.F. Dewy setting spray. This setting spray is so bomb. It smells like a fresh, cracked, open coconut, and it just makes you feel like you're on a beach in Jamaica when you use it. It smells so damn good, y'all. This smells so amazing. And I'm gonna be using the Matte Magic Mist and Set. So I'm gonna be using these two to set my face. I'm gonna go in first with the dewy setting spray. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit because I think this one does have a little bit of oil in it. And I'm not gonna use too much of this, just a little spritz. I'm gonna kind of hold this away from my face. And that's good. Light up my little fan. Now I'm gonna go in a little bit heavier with the Matte Magic Mist and Set because, of course, a girl wants to stay matte. Because I know I'm gonna get a little bit oily, but for the most part, I use matte products to kind of keep the oil under control. So it is gonna break through some of my skin because that's just the way my skin is. And it's really hot out here right now in California, but this setting spray is also the bomb. It really does a great job of keeping me nice and matte. I've been using this for a few weeks, and yeah, it's the bomb. So let's go ahead and get that on nice and heavy. All right, and as you see, I went in nice and heavy with that one so that my face can be well set. So I'm like dripping, came through dripping. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my little fan to dry it down a little bit. Alrighty, you guys, so the last and final step, I know y'all thought it was over, but there's a step that I always do when I'm doing my makeup that I never ever skip. And this is a product that I do use every time I do my makeup, and that is the E.L.F. Perfect Finish HD powder. This is a must-do step for me. This is the powder that prevents my makeup from oxidizing, changing colors, moving around, and doing any kind of weird stuff, and it also keeps any oil or sweat from breaking through. So I have to put this powder on. So what I like to do is, after my face is set, after everything is done, this is a white powder, but it goes on sheer and it just melts right into the skin. But I like to apply this with a beauty blender. I'm using the Real Techniques body blender because I like a nice big surface. I just pat my body blender onto that, pick up some of the powder, and just pat that onto my skin. And like I said, I don't skip this step ever, and it really just makes everything look super flawless on my face. This powder is one of the best products I've ever discovered, and I've shared it with you in all my makeup videos. If you've watched them, then you know you've seen this powder. You know that this step is a must-do for me. And I love that it doesn't affect anything, it doesn't change the color of anything, it doesn't, you know, wipe out my contour or my highlight or anything like that. It just really sets everything into place and makes it look so much smoother, so much nicer. I just like to go on the sides of my nails with that, on top of my nose. I'll even go over my eyebrows a little bit with that because they do sometimes get a little oily. And we are done. Let me go take this little thing off my head and come back and show you guys the real finished product. Thank you all so much for watching my everyday makeup routine. Like I said in my intro, this was me keeping it real. I have been hooked on E.L.F.'s products lately, so everything that I used in this video is what I've been using lately, and I am loving my routine. I'm loving my results. It really lasts me all day long, and y'all know my videos tend to have a lot of outfits, tend to have a lot of information, and a girl can get hot under these lights and so forth, but this makeup routine has really been working for me, and I will list everything that I use in the description. I want to thank you all again for watching. I want to thank everybody who went ahead and subscribed to this channel. I welcome you. I thank you. You are going to love my content. I do fashion videos, hauls, a little bit of everything, including makeup tutorials like this one. So thank you for joining my family, and I will see all of you guys on the next video. Love y'all. Bye guys.